Man. Greetings, welcome back to another episode of the Death Taxes and Sports Podcast. It's just me and Ben here today, but no worries. We'll try to make it fun. I'm excited because it's opening day and the Yankees won. Garrett Cole had 11 strikeouts, and it's a great day to be a Yankees fan. Ben, I know you're just excited. But, sir, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I love the
Awesome.
excitement on, March 30th of baseball. We're going to
Oh,
win it
yeah.
all. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have a legit shot to win it all, though. Like, at least I'm excited about something because my Lakers and my Broncos. Well,
Oh,
my
yeah,
Broncos.
don't worry. We're going to hit the Lakers, man. We're going to
Oh
hit
yeah,
them.
no doubt, no doubt. So we're gonna bring you here episode 79. We got E-Man from Average Shows podcast coming on here at some point today before we take a nap. And then we also have our friend David Bierman, our homeboy, coming on to provide some betting stuff. So tonight we're going to be discussing some NCAA tournament. There's definitely we did a little bit of change to the agenda, something I'm really excited about. We're going to
Hmm.
make our final four picks. We're going to talk some NBA and as well as some NFL, and as well we have to of course lead off with Otani. Man, this guy here
Oh, boy.
is a special player. I got him in my fantasy baseball league. I'm in 5 fantasy baseball leagues. Last year I was in 11. I decided I'm going to be good and only do 5.
All
But
right.
this
All right.
man
Okay.
last year as a
Yes, sir.
batter in 2022 had 34 home runs, 95 RBIs with a 271 batting average. But even as a pitcher, his stats were still phenomenal. 15-9
Hmm.
record, 219 Ks, a 2.33 ERA, but even just as important is a 1.01 WHIP. I mean,
Yep.
first we just
Yep.
have to talk about, can this man win it
Just
all?
just how just unique and amazingly talented this man is. And everybody who says ignorantly that he does his interviews in his foreign language, I can guarantee you can find a lot of his interviews in English if you actually tried. He speaks a lot of English. It's a comfort thing. That's his first language. People who say he doesn't speak English, you're moronic. That's I had to get that out of the way. I really did because that kind of bothers me. He can speak English. Anyways, Otani on the field, those stats were 100% accurate. I just did the math. I'm sure I could have found it, but I just divided the strikeouts and the innings. I came up with, and hopefully it's right, 11.37 Ks per 9 innings. Like, I mean, come on. And let's talk about the most recent. We know it's not Major League Baseball, but the WBC World Baseball Classic is, gaining popularity in the U.S. Like, had a lot of talented players there. Like, it's becoming more of a thing with more talent over there. He was the MVP in the World Baseball Classic. He won at 435. Like, the man is just so uniquely talented. It is insane. And just the Angels, when it comes to October, they're not playing. They got two of the most talented players in the entire league. And it comes down to playoffs, and you don't get to see them because they're not
Yeah,
there. It's just,
yeah,
but Otani is a whole situation, man. The contract, all that jazz.
yeah.
That's
And and I'm just gonna say that shame on the Angels for wasting
mm-hmm,
away the talent of.
mm-hmm.
I think Mike Trout. I don't care what anyone says. Mike Trout is the best player to ever play the game, talent wise.
Best player to ever play the
Ever play
game.
the game. That's just how I feel. I will
Hey
go toe to
man,
toe with anyone.
hey
I will
man.
say that.
Bold is good, man. Bold is
I mean,
good.
listen,
I ain't hating on you.
there's a difference between the greatest and the most talented.
Yes,
I would say
he
no.
said talented. He
I
said
will
talented for
say
everybody
no.
listening.
I would say the Barry Bonds before he juiced up and went to the Giants. I'll
Okay,
say that
okay.
Barry Bonds with the Pirates was up
Mm-hmm.
there. There's a lot of great talented players, and some
Yep,
people
yep.
might think I'm crazy, but Mike
No,
Trout,
the
but
man. I
his
mean, any. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm just saying his availability though. I mean, the man hasn't
Mm-hmm.
played 140 games since 2016. So that's a knock that I give him. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
the Angels have no idea what they're doing because they signed Noah Syndergaard last year. Then they trade him. They use all 20 of their draft picks 2 years ago to draft all pitchers. Half of them aren't even in their farm system
Wait, wait,
anymore.
wait, 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 wait. Is that true?
Yeah, you look it
20
up.
draft picks on
I
20
think they had 20
pitchers.
draft picks. They had between 15 and 20 draft picks. They used
Yep,
all their draft capital on
on
pitchers.
pitchers. Jesus, that doesn't sound like a smart thing to do. Actually, that's not a smart thing to do. Not that many. God dang.
Yeah. So,
Like,
but back to this though. Like, what do you think the Angels should do with Ohtani? Because he's not going to be there next year. You know, you're not going to. I mean, you could
yeah,
probably get a good value for him. I mean,
yeah. That's the thing. They're in the situation that sometimes star athletes. I'm gonna say his name, and then I'm only gonna say his name, and we're not gonna go there until we get there. They're in a very similar scenario as the Mavericks are with Kyrie. I'm gonna leave it alone there for now. Where you got this really, really talented player. He's in the last year of a contract, and you have to decide. Although the Mavs, it was a little bit different. They got him after the trade deadline, so it is a little bit different. Anyways, you have to decide. In the Angels' case, do we trade him? Because if we don't, we may lose him for nothing. No compensation, nothing. So they have an absolutely huge decision to make. Either we want to risk it and we'll pay him $500 million and see if he likes $500 million, because that is the estimates on what he's going to get. It's actually more than that, which is insane, but that is what that ESPN Tim Kirkshin, he predicted that he's going to see over 500 million. So is the owner of the Angels, who is loaded with money, going to say, I don't care to pay this guy $500 million? Or is he going to say, we haven't won with him, so we should try and get some compensation for him?
well, they were
I
talking
don't know.
about. Well, the owner was talking about maybe selling the team. Then he reneged on it. And
Mhm.
I'm going to go bold here. And some Angels fans whoever watching are probably going to think I'm crazy. If I'm them, I look to trade both Ohtani and Mike Trout, because here's why. You're
Mhm.
paying all this money to a player in Mike Trout who is the face of your franchise. But
Mhm.
baseball is different, where one player can't change the fortunes of your team. They
Correct.
have not done the necessary things in their farm system.
Mhm.
They by Keith Law, they had one of the worst farm systems
Yeah.
in all of baseball.
Yep. I saw
So
that too. Yep. Yep.
right, so you have to start thinking to yourself, okay, I need to start thinking about the future. And if the owner's going to stay there, why pay Mike Trout all this money? And also do
Mhm.
him a service and put him on a team that's going to win. And then
Mhm.
secondly, you know Otani's
Mhm.
not going to come back. He ain't coming back.
Mhm.
He's going to go to
No.
the Dodgers. That's what's going to happen.
To see the
I
jersey you're wearing right now, it's Dodgers or Yankees, and that's it. That's where he's going. That's in my opinion. Ohtani, if he's a free agent or even if he gets traded, I think think about the markets, think about the money, think about the fan base, think about the owners, think about the tradition, addiction to winning. All of
yeah,
that fits
he,
for the Yankees
he
and
ain't coming to
Dodgers.
the Yankees. He's not coming to the Yankees. He's going to LA. I think the market there for LA, being on the West Coast, being on the Pacific,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think just for more for his brand, I see him honestly, and I mean he would be great, but to pay a guy, I wonder about the durability thing and being able to pay a guy that insane amount of money when you still got Garrett Cole, you still
How
got
much did you just pay Judge? I can't remember.
9 years, 360 million,
360.
and he's going into his 30s,
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. That's the other
right?
benefit with Ohtani. He's 28 at the moment, turning
Yeah, but
29 in the no, but here's what I'm saying. These teams who are crazy that throw out these 10-year and 12-year and 14-year deals, I don't know if they will do it for him, but here's my take on this, and MLB teams have been crazy with throwing out those long, long deals. What if somebody were to say, listen, we're not gonna a I'm just thinking this in my head right now. Say we give you 300 million and it's a shorter deal for 5 years, let's say. Like, is that crazy if you're going to give them 600 million for 12 years? Why not give them half for 5 years?
5 years,
Just
300 million.
I'm just saying, if he's going to get 600, which is what the rumors are, that's
Ah,
half. And then but I know don't get me wrong, a lot of money. It's a lot of money. But here's what I'm saying: if the team were to do that, which isn't going to happen, you would have him from age 29 to age 34, compared to age 29 to like age 42.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
where I would say, like, for me as a baseball team or owner, I would want to have him, even if I'm overpaying him, which we can say whatever it is. If I'm overpaying him, I don't want to be the Angels and what they did with Pujols and overpaying someone at age 40 and 41 and 42. I want to be overpaying someone between 29 and 34.
yeah, I just think that from a contract perspective, there's going to have to be a lot of deferred money that they're probably going to have to do
Mm-hmm.
because I've read
Yep.
that Ken Griffey Jr. is still getting paid by the Cincinnati Reds. Did you read about that?
I did not, but
He's still getting paid. He's getting paid $3.5 million. That's just I don't know. It's just gonna
yeah,
be crazy.
yeah,
It's just gonna be crazy.
it is. It
I don't
is.
know. But would you, if you're the owner of the Angels, and let's move on to
Yes.
division winners, if you
Yeah.
were the owner, would you trade Ohtani and Mike Trout to get as many prospects as possible? I would.
I missed the question.
Would you, if you're the owner of the Angels, would you trade Ohtani and Mike Trout to try to get back as many top prospects as possible?
I'm not gonna lie. It is extremely rare for any sports team to best players, but given the success, and by success I mean lack of success, and their injuries for Trout and Ohtani, how much money is going to cost? Yeah, there's an argument to be made.
I mean, it's not going to do good for your team
Not
to
immediately.
pay Ohtani. It just doesn't make business sense. I mean, yeah, from a fan perspective,
Mhm.
yeah, but
Mhm.
to be able to keep a player like that and you're not going to be competitive, the only way you keep Mike Trout is just to sell tickets. But at
Mhm.
some point,
Mhm.
selling tickets is only so much when he's not
Mhm.
even playing half the damn season anyway. So it's
Yep.
just
Yep.
kind of like,
And plus, if you pay Ohtani what he's worth, and then let's go fast on division winners. I'm just gonna name them, no explanation. But if you pay Ohtani and Trout, you're paying probably two players like almost $900 million for 2 players. Forget no cap in baseball. That's fine, but 2 players, $900 million?
yeah.
Like, that's insane. First division winners.
Yeah, let's go division winners. What you got in the AL?
So I got this. It threw me off. There's only three divisions now, but so I got Yankees, White Sox, Astros, NL. I got Braves, Cardinals, Padres.
Okay. All right. I just want to do a little bit of explanation just because it's our two Yankees. I'm predicting 90 wins, but I think the
Okay.
Blue Jays are going to be very competitive. The
Yep.
AL Central, when I was doing a little bit of research, I actually got the Guardians, but only slightly due to Jose Ramirez. And
Mhm.
last year, there was no division title that was claimed by a team with fewer wins than the Guardians. And they were the
Mhm.
youngest team to make the playoffs last year.
Yep.
The West, I have that team in Houston who I'm not going to name. I hate the Astros. I spit on them. I
Hey
hate
man,
them.
it's all good. It's all love,
Yeah.
baby. It's all
You know,
love.
the Braves, I got the Braves winning. I got the Braves winning the NL East, man, because you got that
Yep.
pitching with Strider, Max
Mhm.
Fried, Charlie Morton, and Kyle Wright. But check this out. The NL pennant winner has come from this division 3 out of the last 4 seasons since 2019. We talk about the Nationals in 2019,
Mhm.
Atlanta 2021, and the Phillies in 2022.
Yeah, and everyone's falling in love with the splashy moves the Mets made, but they already got injuries, and
I mean,
those pitchers are old.
yeah,
So
like
yeah, I'm
I
saying
just
Atlanta in the NL East.
yeah, dude,
Yeah, I'm
Justin
going
Verlander
Atlanta.
already has a strain. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
why? I don't want to get started on that. NL
Okay,
Central, I'm gonna go
Central
Cardinals,
Cardinals.
and I'm still gonna go with the LA Dodgers because
Okay.
I feel like it's splashy. Don't you feel the Padres are just not just for 30 seconds? Do you feel the Padres are just like a lot of fluff and no substance when it comes to the regular season? Like, there's just a lot of expectations, but they still don't have a true ace on that roster.
So far, you are 1,000% correct. I just think like the Dodgers have won the West like I
9 of the
don't even
last 10
know, like
years.
12 years in 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's like don't you think that all good things come to an end at some point?
Yeah,
I
but
don't know. That's where I was going. The Dodgers are clearly more likely and the favorites to win, but I went with the Padres.
I'm just gonna say the Padres, like I think leadership matters,
Hmm.
and they have a lot of talent, but their pitching is still very suspect outside of Yu Darvish.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
And
for
I
sure.
think that at some point, like your pitching is going to have to be able to make the difference. You still got Blake Snell, who's had maybe 2 quality starts.
Yep.
And for those who
Snell.
don't know what quality starts is pitching at least 6 innings or more. The man
Hmm.
can barely make it past the 4th inning, and you still have him as like
Hmm.
your number 3 pitcher. I'm
Oh,
just
isn't
saying.
that the guy that the manager in the World Series totally screwed his team by taking him out way too early?
Yeah,
That's that guy, right?
yeah,
He was
yeah.
on what team was he on at the time? Was it
He was on the Tampa Bay Smays.
I was gonna say Tampa Bay. Yeah, the coach took him out. The manager took him out in like the 4th inning. He
Yeah,
had given up
but
one hit.
but don't sleep on the Rays though, man. To make a run, I think
Dude,
they
they're
have like
always
one of the top
around.
3 pitchers. But dude, they have
They're
one of the
always
best
around.
pitching rotations in baseball. Yeah, but always fun stuff talking about basketball.
I was
So
gonna
I know
say
that you and I,
yeah, my bad. My bad. I was gonna say let's head to the NCAA, sir.
yes, NCAA. So we decided to do a little bit different here, right? We're going to be talking about what each team has to be able to do to win, right? And then we're going to pick the matchup winner at each Final Four game. And then once when
Yes.
we get to the Final Four matchups, then we'll go and do that. So let's start here with San Diego State. What are some things for you that San Diego
Yep.
State needs to do to be able to win?
Yep. And I know we know this, but for anybody listening now or in the future, I think it's important to note at the DTS podcast, we know the topics before the show. We don't know what anyone's going to say. It is not
Exactly.
scripted at all. We know the
Yes, what the
topics,
Cowboys
and
fan
that's
said.
it.
Yes,
Not
what the Cowboys
scripted
fan
at
said.
all. Okay, anyways, San Diego State versus Florida Atlantic. You asked me about San Diego State first. What do they need to do to win? I kept it relatively simple with them. So they, in the tournament, are only allowed 0.25 points per game in the 4 tournament games thus far. And that includes the game against everybody's favorite to win, at least, as it went on, Alabama. They only allowed 64 points when Alabama averaged 82. So defense for San Diego State is clearly their strong point. And offense, this was crazy, but I wrote it down, 198th. And out of, I think, what did we say was
300.
363.
Yeah,
So they're
363.
198th in points per game on offense. So how do they win? Defense. So how will they win now? Defense. You play to your strong suits. So I basically wrote down, they got to win. They got to be physical. They got to rebound. And they got to win the turnover battle.
I mean,
So
yeah,
San Diego State, that's what I had.
Yeah, I'm just going to stick with San Diego State. They held Creighton in check with 23 second half points and 2 of 17 on threes.
Yep.
Very simple.
Yep.
Noah Mensah, great rim protector, but he's got to be able to score. The key thing is they need to be able to do things. They need to do things better offensively all around it if they're going to be able to win. Pretty much simple. But I really want to start with FAU here, if you don't mind, because I really think that this game is a tale of 2 different teams here, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
First for FAU, they got to be able to match with San Diego State's physicality, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Aztecs though have held their 4 opponents from 3, 16 from 88 at 18% shooting.
Oof.
But here's the caveat: FAU relies heavily on their 3-point shooting ability to be able to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
But they got to be able to find other ways to score and to get free throws, because even when they get free throws, dude, they only average 17.4 free throws a game, and that's ranked 200th nationally. 200th. And they only make a modest 72% from their free throws.
Jeff, my side froze, so go back 1 sentence if you can.
No, I'm saying, so they average only 17.4 free throws per game, which ranks 200 nationally.
Wow. Okay.
Nationally.
Yeah.
So And on top of that, they only make 72% of their free throws. So to me, I'm going to give the nod to San Diego State because I think that they're going to be able to control their perimeter defense is on point, and
Mhm.
FAU doesn't be able to get to the free throw line, and they only make
Mhm.
72% of the free throws. So
Yep.
based on that logic, I go San Diego State to win that game. What say you?
Okay, sir. So I don't care how much we've talked about them or shows have talked about them. I don't care. Florida Atlantic deserves its praise. They are
They do.
35-3. The most wins in NCAA Division One right now is Florida Atlantic University. That I don't care what conference, I don't care what it is. 35 wins and 3 losses. Come on, people. Like they deserve their praise for where they are. And they had a 20-game winning streak earlier in the year. And right now they're on an 11-game winning streak. So I don't care what anybody says. Much love. I don't care. They deserve it. So for them, I had to get that out of the way. I went a little bit deeper with Florida Atlantic than I did with San Diego State. So I wrote down, I counted because I couldn't find it, so I just counted. But in games decided by 10 points or less, their record is 16-2. That's pretty good. Close games, did less than 10 points, they're 16-2. So that matters. I mean, that carries weight. If you're comfortable playing in pressure situations because you've done it and you've had success, that is one of the keys for them to keep it close. Johnell Davis, he has been just, I don't care necessarily about stats because it's not like he's averaging 30 points and 10 assists but he just makes plays, man. He makes plays at the right time. The most clutch moments, Johnell Davis seems to just come through. I wrote down he has the it factor. Like he just and everybody believes in him because he does it so consistently. He is, he's a big factor for them, obviously. And we're gonna mention KenPom because we love KenPom. For anybody who don't know, Ken Pomeroy, he does efficiency ratings and he's amazing at it. Does it overall and offense and defense. Offense and defense, the Florida Atlantic was rated in the top 30 in adjusted efficiency, which means adjusted for opponents. They were in the top 30 on offense and defense. The only other team in this Final Four that was in the top 30 on both was UConn. So they are balanced as well because they have really good offense and a really good defense. And then I wrote down for the last point on FAU, close in the last 5 minutes. One of the reasons I think they are where they are is because they don't feel any pressure. They're not supposed to win. So if the game is close at the end, all the pressure in this case falls on San Diego State because they're supposed to win. Florida Atlantic was supposed to lose 3 games ago. So if they can keep it close, because we talked about, keys to victory and how FAU can win, keeping it close. And I said it Tuesday, and I'm going to stay consistent. I got FAU. I got FAU advancing to the championship game.
Trust me, I want to see FAU win. I do. I just don't think that they've been able to meet a team as gritty and as physical as San Diego State is.
Oh, no, you're not wrong about it. San Diego State, they're like, you go to, like, when you're a kid, or not even when you're a kid, even our age now, you go to the park and you're playing pickup basketball and you see that team that's just like just all muscles and physical. Like, oh, man, we got to go against them. It's kind of what it is with San Diego State. They'll out physical you. That defense, they play bully ball. Like, yeah, you are right.
Yeah.
They have not seen this type of animal. Florida Atlantic has not.
Yeah. Yeah, and and then going to this next game, though, I was really excited to be able to talk about this UConn team because I think this UConn team has probably been one of the more well-rounded, more dominant teams.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think for them, man, I mean, this is a team that's ranked 11th in defensive efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
right? They got two guys in Adama Sinogo and Donovan
Mm-hmm.
Clington who just pretty much are just going to stay in their lane, block shots, and run the ball. But then you still got other guys like um, Jackson and Newton from UConn, and this duo combined for 14 of 22 assists against
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then here's the last thing. This thing
No,
is crazy
you
because
can keep
we love
going. You can
stats.
keep going. It doesn't have to be the last thing.
Between Hawkins, who made 104 threes made,
Mm-hmm.
Eric Caravan made 63. Joey C, I'm just going to say that, made 47 free throws. Newton made 43, and Naheem Allen made 32. They have averaged 22 points alone off of three-pointers. So between that, and then there are two guys down in the post,
Mm-hmm.
they're going up against the Miami team that's ranked 104th in defensive efficiency.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're defending at a great clip, only holding their team down to 61.7 points per game.
Yes. Yes.
That's all I'm going to say on that, and I think you know where I'm going with who I think is going to win. I'm just going to say that.
So let me play devil's advocate. Pretend the world that Miami wins this game because we want to go both angles. How does Miami win from your perspective? If they're going to win, how do they do it?
They need to be able to prove that the three is greater than the two, right? And the reason why I say that is because they have to make enough three-pointers to offset the production of Sinogo and Clington to be able to generate that when they're going to generate points in the paint. They don't have an answer for those two guys. So they're going to have to hit three-pointers, and they're going to have to get those guys in foul trouble, and they're going to have to make their free throws. I mean that's just what it comes down to. But like I said, they average about 22 to 24 points off free throws alone, and then you still got those two bigs. Like, I mean,
for sure.
I just don't see it happening, but it could happen.
I'm with you, and definitely UConn's the favorite, and they should be. So on this one, I'll be pretty quick on UConn. And I went a little more in depth than Miami because I was like, wait, how are they going to win? I have to come up with ways that they could. So UConn, let's go to their defense. You covered the 3-point shooting, which is good because I didn't have any of that written down. So good, man.
Welcome.
I'm going to go with rebounds and defense just in the tournament alone. In the tournament, they have allowed 59.25 points per game. Okay, that's pretty darn good. Just throwing it out there. It's pretty good. I wrote down their rebound differential. Just comparing, obviously, how many rebounds they had, how many rebounds the opponents had. So I wrote down they were plus 16, they were plus 9, they were plus 12, and they were plus 8. Rebound differential, add those up, divide by 4. They have averaged winning the rebound game 11.25. 3-point shooting, you talked about. Where's their weakness?
Talk about UConn's or you talk about Miami's?
UConn.
UConn.
Dude,
I mean,
they ain't got a weakness, man. What is their weakness? The only weakness I can think of is their coach has not been there before.
Yeah, and
that's all I got for UConn.
And right, and people are wondering why UConn has been dominant. UConn has been the best team in the tournament. Yep. I mean, they have been because they have two bigs on the post. They're going to give you 14 and 10 each. Oh, and by the way, we have 4 guys that can shoot 3-pointers. Oh, by the way, we got 6 guys off the bench that can give us at least 15 minutes a game. I mean, there's just.
And let's go one last thing before I go to Miami, if I can, on UConn.
Go for it.
They are number 1 overall in Mr. Ken Pomeroy. And adjusted offense, they are number 3. Adjusted defense, they are number 11. So, again, where's the weakness? They don't have one besides their coaching experience. So it took me a little bit to come up with how the heck Miami's going to win, given everything we just said. So it was hard to do. But I will say this. impressive
David.
wins. Hello, Mr. David Bearman. How we doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Good, man. Good. You came in at a good segment. We're talking some Final Four.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We talking UConn, Miami at the moment. We both just kind of outlined how amazing UConn is, and I'm right now trying to come up with a way that Miami could win because it's not impossible. So I was just in the middle of saying that these two teams arguably have the two most impressive wins of the tournament. Miami over Houston, 89-75. Houston was number 2 overall in Ken Pomeroy efficiency. And then I don't even need to say the final score. Like, that was just amazing. So now going back to Miami, I will say this. They arguably had the toughest path. They beat 4-seed Indiana. They beat 1-seed Houston and 2-seed Texas. And the common theme in those 3 games is they scored 85 points or more in all 3 games. So how the heck do they beat the defensive mastermind of UConn? They gotta score.
They gotta
score a lot.
They do, and they can. And while
they gotta get in the 80s.
UConn is the best team left. And you know, they take nothing away from them. They've played great. They played the best ball in the country. This was a top 10 team at one point before a little bit of a February swoon. You know, they didn't do great in the conference tournament, but you see what they're capable of. Now you see why they were a top 10 team going into the season, why they were a top 10 team in January. They very well could win it all. That's why they're the odds-on favorite to win it all. Miami is the ACC champ. Miami has played the toughest possible road that a 5 seed could play, beating a very good 12 in a Drake team, and then a 4-2 and a 1. Like, I mean, that's what they've done. They didn't get any open brackets like some of the other teams did, and Miami can hang. I mean, they're a team that, yes, the ACC was down this year, but they did win the ACC, and then the only reason they didn't win the ACC tournament is because they ran into a hot Duke team that we thought we'd be talking about this weekend, and if not for a really good defensive Tennessee team, Duke could be playing right now in the final.
Hey, Dave,
four.
Can I throw a question to you?
Sure.
So me and Jeff were talking. We were like, wait, so what is UConn's weakness? And we're thinking, and I'm like, only thing that I can truly think of, like without researching that much, is that their head coach hasn't been there before. That's all I got.
Hey, you're talking about a guy who comes from a basketball family and he's won 7 billion high school championships. So I'm not too concerned about that. Yeah, does Larinaga have a little bit of an advantage because he's been there before? I mean, maybe. With the Final Four, really, like, you know, anybody can win any single game, as we've seen in this tournament. It's not like the best team always wins in the Final Four. And you can go back to UConn's last title in 2014 when they beat the number 1 team, Florida, my alma mater, who had won 30 consecutive games in a row. And UConn was down 16-4 early and came out and beat the number 1 team in the country. So it's never, I wouldn't say UConn is unstoppable and UConn can't win. I mean, you look at this tournament and it looks like the UConn Invitational with UConn and 3 first-timers. Go back to 1999, also a UConn title. It was the Duke Invitational. It was number 1 Duke and 3 teams that had never been there, and UConn took them down. So I do believe Miami can win this game. Miami has beaten some very good teams this year. You mentioned Houston, Texas. They've beaten some other good teams, and they are the ACC champs. And to be honest, you're getting in my wood, you're getting 5.5 points. Like, I'm taking the 5.5 points. Okay, I can't say I'm doing that because you can't bet on University of Connecticut games while in Connecticut legally. But should I find a way to cross a border or make a phone call, 5.5 sounds pretty darn good for a team that not only has covered in this tournament all 4 games, but the Miami Hurricanes have the number 1 cover percentage in the country.
Wow. Yeah.
On the road. So, I mean, as an underdog. Sorry, as an underdog.
As an underdog. Yep.
As an underdog. They have the top cover percentage in the country as an underdog. So they've been in this position before. And quite honestly, they look like they were dead in the water versus Texas. Came back from double digits and won the game. So they're a very streaky team. If you were to tell me that UConn won this game by 15, I wouldn't be surprised. If you were
Mhm.
telling me that Miami won this game outright, I wouldn't be surprised. It's far more interesting matchup on this side of the bracket than the other ones we'll get to. But I'm going to be taking the points with the team that literally has played better than anybody in the country as an underdog versus a team that can't quite play any better than UConn has played. So
Mhm.
I'm going to take the points. But again, no one's going to be surprised if UConn wins. But I think in a situation like this where everything's on the line in one game, I'm going to take the 5.5 points.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was
All
just
right.
gonna
I
say,
mean,
like, what you pointed out the path of, the 1 seed Houston, the 1 seed, 4 seed, and the 2 seed.
Yeah.
What's the 4 seed? I forget the 4 seed. I had it
Indiana, they
written down.
played Indiana, Houston, and
Indiana.
Texas.
There we go. And Texas. And the common theme, and thank you. I just said it 30 seconds ago and then forgot. The common theme in those three, they scored 85 or more all 3 games. They can light it up. They
Yeah, they
did.
can.
Yeah,
They're
man.
very, very
They
good team.
did.
yeah, and it just when you got a team, and I was saying like in order for Miami to be able to win, they got. I was saying that they have to understand that threes are better than two, and they have to be able to make more 3-pointers to be able to offset the production, the paint by Sanogo and Homeboy down in the paint. I mean, they're just like it's just phenomenal when you really look into the weeds of the numbers, just how efficient and how dynamic this UConn team, how big this UConn team is. And E-Man, how you doing?
What's up, gentlemen? How you doing?
Oh, what's up? You
Oh,
Yankees fan? Oh snap!
E-Man!
Oh snap!
E-Man!
This is great. This
You
is
forgot
great.
about that
This
one,
is
huh?
Hey Jeff.
nice.
Hey Jeff, let me throw something at you. So we both at the moment have a different national championship game. Why don't we just throwing something out there? You describe how UConn wins and your who'd you pick? UConn versus San Diego State. And then I'll say how FAU versus UConn. And then David, we will toss it to you for some more betting. E-Man will get you looped in after that. How's that sound?
Great, guys.
Yeah, great, man. You saw that Yankees winning, man. I know you saw that. That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Let me
Great
check
opening.
this. That was
Great opening. Great opening.
yes,
And
it was. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. So we'll just make this very quick. All I'm gonna say
We'll
is
get to
UConn,
it.
UConn just needs to continue to do what they do.
Mhm.
That's it. They just need to
Okay.
continue to dominate the paint. They need to dominate the 3-pointers. They do that, they win this game. Again, we said they're 11th in defensive efficiency. They're going to win this game. I have them winning it all. Go to you, and then let's toss it to David, and let's get E-Man in this.
Well, how does San Diego State win if they do?
I mean,
You're saying they're not going to win, so I'm not even talking about it.
no. I'm going to say San Diego State. No, I'm going to say San Diego State's going to beat FAU because I just think that defensively they held their 4 opponents to 18% from 3, and FAU relies heavily on the 3, and they're 3 in free throws, and they only make 72%. So just based on those numbers, I'm just going to go San Diego State.
Okay, good man. So I have UConn versus FAU, and for FAU to pull off what I would say would be a monumental upset, I just wrote down they got to I know these are all obvious things, but I wrote down defend well, rebound well, don't get down double digits, be within 5 points in the last 5 minutes, play free. They got no pressure. They got no expectations. That's the only way I could see them pulling off a very huge upset if it's within 5 points in the last 5 minutes. As far as UConn, the flip side, start fast, get a double-digit lead quick, dominate the boards, and put them to sleep, basically like they did to Gonzaga, who was on an incredible winning streak, and they beat Gonzaga by almost 30 points. So they get up early by double digits. I could see easily a repeat of that Gonzaga game. Maybe not 28 points, but you get the point.
No. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts, Dave? Well, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on the San Diego State FAU game? And then email, let's get your thoughts on this Final Four.
I mean, listen, I love everything about FAU. My dad went to FAU. I grew up down the street from there. I like everything about it. It's a great story. I don't think they pull it off. I think San Diego State is a lot better than people think they are. One of the best defenses in the country, battle tested. They've been in the tournament before. I think San Diego State gets that defense going and they beat FAU. So I think they're going to do that. UConn, by the way, I'm playing the under in that game. It'll be a defensive slugfest. Don't expect a shootout there. just the way San Diego State plays, and it's not like FAU needs to run up and down the court. So I expect a low-scoring game in the 50s, somewhat like the Creighton game was. I talked a few minutes ago about I think Miami can hang with UConn. I do think UConn's a better team and will probably win the game. Would not be surprised at all to see Miami win. I'd like to see Miami win. But, UConn plays the way they're playing. No one's going to beat them, and they're going to be cutting down the nets Monday night. I do think you get a UConn-San Diego State game, and I think UConn does get it done. I think the only thing that would surprise me in this Final Four is if FAU did pull it off. It'd be one hell of a story. But I think the odds are stacked there for a reason. It'd be tough to win both those games. I could see Miami doing it. I could see UConn doing it. And I can see San Diego State doing it. I'll go with UConn, San Diego State, and UConn winning it all. Hopefully that'll make sure the gas prices continue to stay low here in Connecticut with a nice win since the women lost. Going to need something to up the confidence. But before I dip, I'll say that take the over in the UConn game, take the under in the San Diego State game, and then we'll see where the line settles on Monday night.
Okay, sounds good. E-Man.
Hey, man, you guys really stated the obvious, right? But I'm going to go contrarian on this one for the fact that even though I'm a New Yorker, I've been in South Florida now since 2004. So I've partied at FAU, all right, when I first moved down here. My homie graduated from there. I partied at UM. I worked 50 minutes away from FAU. I lived 30 minutes away from UM. So when I moved down here in my mid-20s, guess what, man? I partied in both schools. So I am going to call a all South Florida, West Palm against Dade County, all right, finals, and the best South Florida team wins. So I'm going to say FAU and UM just because of the homer love here that I am right now. So
I would love it. I'm there.
The all Florida final, yeah.
That's it, man.
My mom went to Miami. My dad went to FAU. Like, that would be great. I'm not sure it happens, but that would be fantastic.
But you know what? Based on what we've seen in this tournament, which I've been watching the tournament since like 91, all right? And Christian Laettner hitting that shot. I'm a big Duke fan. So, you know what I'm saying? So that team with Hurley and Grant Hill, who's one of my favorite players of all time in the NBA, I never seen a tournament like this. What has happened with the lower seed and the low seeds losing so early, and then teams like UM and number 5s like that making it this far in this Final Four that nobody predicted. 37 brackets were right with these 4 teams. It is truly amazing. So why not? It could happen. Technically, it won't, but it could. It's been one of those years.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah. I like it.
I got a dip, but since you're a South Florida guy now, you should start wearing Marlins jerseys and not Yankees.
Nah, I can't. The colors bleed. The colors bleed Brooklyn, baby. I can't let that one go.
But hey, David, glad to have you on, sir.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, man, you a Yankees and a Duke. This is great.
Yeah,
this is great.
You line up with him, Yankees.
Yeah, the last time we spoke about the Yankees, but I didn't mention Duke. Yeah, I was a Duke fan because just because I used to. That's when I started watching.
There we go.
NCAA.
Yeah, man. But no, glad to have you on, man. Definitely
Thanks for having me on, guys.
You on, man. Yeah, no doubt. For a question, how are you feeling about your Knicks right now?
I think
that's a good
one. Randall went out with an injury yesterday. We don't know how.
2 to 3 weeks. I just
2 to 3 weeks, and that's tough with 6 games left in the season. We've been playing really good, decent ball. We've been up and down all year. We've gone through streaks. But Randall not being there, that's tough, man. He's a double-double guy, 24 points a game. I know we've had a great year from Jalen Brunson, but he's a big part of the offense, and that's a tough loss.
How far do you think that they really can go? Because right now they're 5th right now.
I think so. They're 5th right now.
Yeah, it's Cleveland versus New York. That's
exactly.
There's no other seeding that's happening between those 2 teams. It's 4 versus 5 right there. That's the matchup.
And I want to be honest with you. Sorry,
go ahead. I'm
going to be honest with you. Even with a healthy Knicks team, I think Cleveland has the better squad. All right.
I think
you got the guards that can light it up at any time. Is that when playoff basketball is right? Is the hottest player, man, the hottest superstar that can carry you through a load. And the reason why I say this, remember a couple of years ago, when Randall had that great season, we made it to the playoffs. We were better on paper than Atlanta, but Trae Young got hot and willed that overachieving team all the way to the conference finals. So that's kind of what I am at when it comes to the NBA playoffs. I want him to win, but I think Cleveland it's a tough matchup for us. Garland.
Do we think? Guys, do we really? I think this is going to be one of the best early round matchups. I think
absolutely,
just because of the storylines with homeboy for Cleveland, Spider, right?
And Mitchell, how he wanted to go to the Knicks,
He's from Queens.
E-Man, I just got to ask you, would you have made that trade for Donovan Mitchell?
I would have. It's Donovan Mitchell. Regardless. I mean, he's a superstar, and regardless of his game is a little bit. A lot of people don't like his game because he's a volume shooter, right? But come on, man, how many guys like that average 25 a game? And if you notice what he's done in the playoffs, right, for the Jazz, I mean, he's a guy that would average 30 a game in a heartbeat. Look what he's done for Cleveland, right?
Yep.
I mean, everybody says it's not going to work out, man. He's a volume shooter. You're bringing him to the East. There's more defense. Guy hasn't skipped the beat, man. Hasn't skipped the beat. And he's played great with Darius Garland, which is another great guard that also needs shots, right? So it's
and their defense too.
Exactly. The defense was there from last year. So
this brings the perfect segment to Ben's impressions, because this was it sounds kind of corny, E-Man, but we wanted to give him a segment. I was like, what about Ben's impressions, like his impressions? So I give him like a random thing within sports. Let's talk about an alternative world where they did do the trade and Donovan Mitchell was on the Knicks. What would be their record right now? Like, how far would they go?
I'm going to keep it simple. The best three teams would still be the best three teams. It would not push the Knicks above the Sixers, the Bucks, or the Celtics. It just wouldn't. Now, could they beat one of those teams in the playoffs with Donovan Mitchell? Absolutely. You asked me about the regular season. Regular season, those top three would still be the top three, in my opinion, because what was the trade? The trade was giving up Barrett, giving up. Who was the trade exactly back in?
Barrett. They probably had
definitely Barrett.
Yeah. Topping, I think, was involved. There was a couple of young players.
Toppin, Barrett, I think another guy, and a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have done it as well, because your ceiling is higher.
Mm-hmm.
You have a better chance. You got a superstar, to your point. Randall is very consistent. He gets double-doubles a lot, but he's not at that tier.
He's not
He's an all-star player. He's not in that universe that Donovan's in. He's just not. So Donovan, arguably, in the basketball, there's only 5 players on the court. We're not talking about football. Like, there's 5 players. One dominant series by a guard, to your point. Trae Young just did it against the Knicks. Trae Young, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, which is crazy how bad they are now, but that's a story for another day. But you asked me if the trade happened, I even if they were to upset one of those 3 teams in the playoffs, they wouldn't make the NBA Finals. I mean, the Bucks are loaded, the Celtics are loaded, the 76ers are loaded. They're all loaded. And the Knicks would not be better. They would have a better chance to beat them in the playoffs than they do now. But I wouldn't predict them to beat those teams in the playoffs, even with Donovan.
All right, E-Man, your thoughts?
No, I agree. I think it'll be flipping, seats, 4 or 5, right? Either one will be the 4, the Knicks will be 4, whatever they're right now. And I haven't looked at the seating. If one is 5, the other one is 4, vice versa. I agree with Ben. But however, like you said, they would have that alpha, right? That number one that can take over series because of his scoring, like he did in Utah. Remember, Utah, it was Rudy Gobert and him. If you tell me, apart from Ingles and who else was another scorer in that squad, it was all him. And regardless, I mean, they would give Denver. I mean, that series against Denver, man. Remember, he was averaging, dropping 40s and 35s. Him and Jamal Murray going at each other, stuff like that, right? You know what I'm saying? He's the kind of guy that, and I think with the Knicks, with Randall in there, and because Barrett would not be there, but I think he would have a lot of the support and the bench with probably Jalen Brunson, meaning that guess what, man? Mitchell was going to be playing 2 guard all day long. Yeah, we will suffer defensively. But
E-Man, let me just sorry, I didn't mean to cut you there. But let me throw this out just so if we're saying and we're in agreement that they would be the 4 seed right now with Donovan if the trade goes through, then they would have to beat, in order to make the finals, they would have to beat win the first round, obviously. Then they would have to beat the Bucks in round 2, and then they would have to beat either the Sixers or the Celtics in the conference finals. I'm sorry, Donovan is great, but he ain't that great.
No.
He ain't getting through all that. It's just
I would say tiers as far as like guards.
Mm-hmm.
If you put him with another superstar, he's good to be that number 2.
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%.
He's like,
it's almost like he's, sorry, I was about to say, it's almost like he's Kyrie when he had LeBron. Kyrie was the perfect number 2. Can't be a number 1.
But I still think he's a little bit of I don't know. I don't know.
He's more of an alpha than what we have now, than Randall. Randall is number 1 in our team now because of his production. But you saw him. He's going to fade in the playoffs because he's not that guy. And the Knicks, you know what I'm saying? Mitchell is. Now, of course, if he goes to play with the likes of a Giannis, KD, even Devin Booker, put it that way, right? I think he's not better than Devin Booker. You know, Luka or whatever the case may be, he's going to be the number 2 guy. Really damn good number 2 guy. You know what I mean? That would definitely
no doubt.
help.
No doubt. Yeah, and and we had this episode about just like the Western Conference messy, man, because this Western Conference is just absolutely a mess. I don't trust the Denver McNuggets.
No.
And it's just, it's
a hot mess, man. It's a really hot mess.
Where do we go, E-Man? Like, where do we, like, just how are you feeling? Like, I don't even know where to go with this Western Conference because it's just so.
I can help you. I can help you out with that. No, I'm
go
sorry.
for it.
E-Man, go for it, buddy.
Look, listen. I'm gonna start with. Let's start from the bottom, then we move to the top, right? Because you're gonna have a dogfight for that number 7 and 8 seed. All right, guys, in this play-in tournament. The Pelicans. I think the Oklahoma City Thunder is going to end up eliminating the Dallas Mavericks because the Kyrie poison pill in Dallas is definitely in full effect, man. Complete dumpster fire trade.
I'm so glad you said the Kyrie
I was one of the guys that said,
pill.
I love Luka Doncic. He's one of my favorite players because, you know what I'm saying? The dude loves to ball. You know, he's a great athlete. I mean, he's a great player. Not a great athlete because he's not athletic at all, but he's one of these players that you'd be like, wow, how does he do it, right? But the fact that they're done. They're done. That's a dumpster fire. I think it's going to be the Lakers, OKC. You got the Pelicans, which I think Zion Williamson should come back for the playoffs. I mean, I would love to see Zion Williamson play sometime this year, right?
And
the Timberwolves.
He's not.
Yeah,
he's not. He's not. Yeah. I'm gonna answer you right now. He's not.
And the Timberwolves. So look, if you tell me the way that it looks now, I think the Lakers, because LeBron is coming back, they should be able to make the playoffs as a number 8 or 7 seed, depending on what goes in the play-in tournament. I honestly think that it's going to be up for grab for the other playoff spot between, again, the Pelicans, because, you know, they have a little more talent. I think it's going to be between the Pelicans and the Timberwolves because now, you know, Anthony Karl Towns, he's back and he's healthy. So he's been injured all year long. So let's see what the team can do. Who's been, you know, they haven't had a great year because he's been hurt. This is their best player. But look, and then also, what's his name? Anthony, I forget the other, my God, the guard, the guy that can dunk a lot.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards. He's also been on and off the court also with injury. So those two guys are playing together again consistently back, and it's a good time to do that. So I think the Lakers and the Timberwolves will take that 7 and 8 seed. After that, man, look, I agree with you guys. Denver is a fake number 1. It's a good team to watch play. Love the play style. Love, you know, Jokic and Jamal Murray going up and down the court, making these plays, but they're a fake number 1. To be honest,
they play no defense.
Exactly.
No defense. None.
Love the story of the Kings, right? And I'm not going to dive on every single one of them because we're going to be here forever. But love the story of the Kings. First time in 16 years. It's great, right? They're not. They're going to be shocked if they play Golden State, right? Because I think
Golden State play defense.
Exactly. I think Golden State can be that team at 6 seed that can go ahead and take on the 3 seed, right? It's one of the things that you'd be like, it's going to be a tough matchup. But honestly, healthy in the Western Conference, healthy, right? That's the big word. You got to take the best player in the league, Kevin Durant, when it comes to the postseason. Healthy with Devin.
You know,
Okay.
you know, Ben,
healthy.
You know, the thing with the Suns, man, it's that they're just so top heavy because they got rid of Cam Johnson and
Cam and Bridges.
It's been a long day.
Cam, Bridges.
Those are 2 big losses.
They lost a lot of
Kevin Durant is Kevin McBrittle. Okay, like he's just.
That's why I said healthy.
Kevin McBrittle.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just tough, man. I'm still going to give Golden State their due because, yes, their record has been terrible, but Anthony Wiggins is the key. And Gary Payton Jr., if those two can come back and contribute with their three-point shooting, the playoffs, like the regular season on the road is different than playoffs on the road. right? I really do think that. So I don't know, but Ben, I'm going to toss you the ball.
So we lost Ben.
Frozen.
Yes.
He's frozen.
You're back. You're back.
Ben,
I'm back.
Ben,
there you go.
Okay, now you're back.
Oh,
okay, you're
I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Okay. So as far as the Western Conference, what am I watching the last? I wrote down the 4 through the 6 seeds right now is extremely close. The Suns are the 4 seed, a half game up on the Clippers, and the Warriors are the 6 seed currently, only 1.5 games by the Suns. So those seeds are not locked in by any stretch. Those seeds, I mean, who knows? The Warriors get hot, they could be the 4 seed. I mean, they're only a game and a half back. So the 4 through 6 seeds in the West, that is all still up in the air. So that's something to pay attention to. The Mavericks, it's not worth talking about. Dumpster fire. Yeah, Kyrie poison pill. We love it. Okay, we're going to leave that alone. The other thing is, I wrote down kind of a 2-part question. Where do the Lakers finish? And who should they want to play in the first round, assuming they're not the 8 seeds? I don't think they'll be the 8. So would they rather play, or do we think that they would have a better chance of beating Memphis or the Kings? So where do they finish, and who would you give a better chance of them beating, Memphis or the Kings?
I think they have a better chance to beat the Kings, honestly. But I don't think they're going to get out of the first round.
Okay.
Man. The dumpster fire, that's the Grizzlies. But the Kings, I'm gonna say the Kings just because of inexperience, right? Like
inexperience.
Like we've seen it, like NBA. It's throughout the history, right? One thing, like before I think the Kings are on the precipice of being Golden State 2.0. Whereas if they make the right move or two, they can have a little run, because I think that De'Aaron Fox is legitimate. I think Sabonis is legitimate. I think their coaching is legitimate, but you got to go through your rough patches before you become that team, right? You look at OKC, they had to get over the hump against the Lakers. You look at LeBron, like it always happens. But I think the Kings are coming if they do the right things.
So,
true.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to go 3 for 3. They would much prefer to play the Kings. But the reality is, I don't see that happening. I don't see them getting to the 6th seed. They're a game and a half behind Golden State right now for that 6. I don't even, at this point, with how inconsistent AD is, with his injury history, with LeBron's injury, with all of that, I cannot sit here and say I trust them to move up to the 6th seed. I do think that they win that that play-in, that 7 versus 8, and they get Lakers versus Memphis. And I'm just going to be completely honest. And we have to preface everything with health, especially this year. It's been crazy with health. But if we are going to talk about LeBron and AD healthy, let's expand it even past the top 2. Let's say in a perfect world, Memphis has their top 8 players. Lakers have their top 8 players for the whole winning that series.
Yeah.
Now,
like you said, the Lakers have this look, and by true form, age. All right, they don't have a very young team, and let's be serious with that, right?
Absolutely.
LeBron is unbelievable what he's done, at the level of performance, stuff like that. But you notice, right, since he's joined the Lakers, he's missed more games than ever in his career. Guys, age is undefeated. Don't get me wrong. When he's playing 28 a game, 8 rebounds, unreal, right? Let's keep it real. But again, the wear and tear of the body. Anthony Davis, who, again, Mr. Glass, Mr. Street Clothes, this guy cannot stay healthy. And it's a shame because you saw what he did when LeBron was out, right?
Yeah.
He carried the team and averaging 30 plus, double doubles. I mean, he's just one of those guys that is a completely different type of player, but it's just, the Lakers cannot stay healthy. Now they could surprise anybody, right? 7 against 3, 7 against 2, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
But they were talking about LeBron's foot taking season-ending surgery.
Yeah.
I just like they would need
Yep.
him to be. They would need him to go on a run that has never been seen
Mhm.
before. And
Mhm.
Anthony Davis, I tell you what, if they were 100% healthy and they had this
Mhm.
roster that they had now prior to the trade deadline, this is a top 4 team. They're better than their record, but because they have just. I'm just so tired of talking about the Lakers, and they're my team. It's just I'm just kind
Well,
of sick
it's
of it.
crazy because I agree with you 100%, right? And let's say LeBron never got injured when Anthony Davis
Yeah.
came back from injury, right? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They would have been probably, let's say add worst case scenario 5, right?
Yeah.
6, maybe 5 and 6. They'll be hit them in Golden State because of the matchups and stuff like that, right? Because they still have a problem with that, right?
Right.
That's just the bottom line. They have a problem with the outside shooting, which they haven't corrected that yet. I don't know how. So, regardless of the fact, but you still got LeBron, right? You still
Right.
got, if AD's healthy, you got 2 of the best players in the NBA. Yeah, I think 5th seed, and we'll be talking a little bit of a different song and dance.
Yeah, they got to trade AD, I think, after the end of this. But let's wrap this up soon. I want to throw a couple fun little questions out of you,
All right.
gentlemen, and I've been really, really, really eager.
All right.
Can the Ravens trade Lamar Jackson and remain competitive?
Who are you going to first?
Ben, I'm gonna go to you first.
Gonna go to me first. Well, it's a loaded question because it depends. It's a very obvious answer. It depends upon the compensation they get. I'm gonna say if I'm Baltimore, I have to get him to sign the tag. The only way you do that is you say, "Hey, Lamar, sign this, and this is the trade. This is where you're going." It's really as simple as that. Everyone is caught up, especially on Twitter. Oh my God, it's great. They have to give up 2 first. They have to give up 2 first. No, they don't. He signs the tag. They can do any trade that they want. Everyone's like, offer sheet, 2 first-round picks. No, it's not going to work like that. If it's going to be a trade, they're going to formulate the trade. He's going to sign the tag, and then the trade's going to happen. So I think it depends. If I'm the Ravens, I absolutely have to get a quarterback back in the deal. You're not going to get Lamar back. You're trading Lamar. But you got to get a quarterback. And I really, really think, and Twitter has gone crazy as it always goes crazy, but I really think, and I tweeted it, and it's actually, more compensation than what ESPN, Bill Love, he's an amazing NFL reporter. I propose, off memory, Lions and Ravens trade. Lions get Lamar. Ravens get Goff, a first and a second this year and a second next year. I don't see how that's a bad deal for either side. You aren't winning a Super Bowl with Goff. I don't care if he got there with the Rams. And he's not going to go the last 8 games last year where he had like 16 touchdowns and 0 picks. That's not who he is. He played amazing. That's not who he is. So if I'm the Ravens, I need a quarterback back in the trade.
Hey, that's facts. E-Man?
Hell no. He's going to a team that they're not going to get a good quarterback in exchange. Plain and simple. The team that they got to trade him to, if they do a trade, right? Not an offer sheet or anything else. Let's say they got to go ahead and trade him because they don't, he doesn't get an offer sheet and they don't match, right? Let's say he doesn't get an offer sheet because a lot of teams right now that are saying they're not interested. There's been about 8 or 9 teams that have gone out there and said, no, we're not signing Lamar because we need the money. What he's requesting is way too much. We need to add money to other pieces. So let's say he doesn't get signed. Nobody gives him an offer sheet. And he's still dealing with this issue. He doesn't want the money or the contract that's being offered by the Ravens. Then they're forced to trade him. He's going to go to the Colts. He's going to go to a team, something like that. Don't be surprised if he goes to the Patriots. I don't know. It's not Bill Belichick style. But again, look, it's going to be a team that they're not going to give back a quarterback in exchange. If it's going to be a quarterback in exchange, Desmond Ridder, right? What the hell? Whatever, Atlanta. So you're not going to get a guy back. So Lamar's gone. That team is a wasted defense, all right, with no wide receivers. And it's going to be a complete dumpster fire because that they're not going to have anything in return for that. The 2 picks is going to be great to build the future, but
I mean, it is right up Jim. It is right up Jim Irsay's alley.
I think Lamar Jackson should have stayed with Baltimore if they could because he is the Ravens and he's had all the success. But I think the Ravens are ultimately going to regret not giving him the money that he deserves because he's the reason why they've been in playoff contention. He's the reason why they had a 14-2 season a couple years ago. I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those unfortunate things. But Ben, did you have one more question before we concluded?
I was just going to say, to your point on Lamar, his record, and we know wins and losses is not all the quarterback. It's not, but let's call it what it is. His record as a quarterback is 45-16. The Ravens without him are 4-9. Oh no, that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah,
45-16, 4-9. Like,
I mean, stats are stats. But E-Man, glad to have you on, sir. We glad that you're able to make it on. As we always like to do, with all the guests, we like to give people, their time to shine and tell the fans, people in the Twitter sphere, and all that fun stuff. What you got working on, man?
All right. Well, thank you guys first and foremost. I'm sorry that I got late. It was some conflicts, man.
So
next time, I'll definitely get you guys. I'll be on a day that I don't have anything going on. But nah, man. The fastest way to find me is on Twitter, Joes_talk. Check the link in the bio. I have a link tree. You click the link tree. You got to find all the platforms where my podcast can be seen, heard. My other social medias. Check me out there. Follow me on Twitter. I mean, right now I'm working on multiple things. I got my own show under the Average Joe Sports Talk podcast. I do a Thursday show with the Fantasy Sports Corporation with a buddy of mine, Jordan Thomas, called the Weekly Throwdown. That's what we just finished doing. And I'm just always trying to stay busy as much as I can on social media and trying to grind as much as I can.
E-Man, throw that Twitter handle out there another time, because these people, if you ain't following him, you got to do it now.
Appreciate it. Joes_talk at Twitter. Joes_talk on Twitter. Beautiful. Let's go Yankees.
There we go. Hey, how many wins are you predicting for a Yankees? I'm not as optimistic just because of the injuries, man.
So we're getting Rondon, right? In April, I think that's what they're saying.
Yeah, but he's injury prone, man.
I know. We're getting him in April. I think if a healthy Rondon, that's a really good 1-2 punch, right? Look what Garrett Cole did today. I mean. And I think Severino's second year of, Tommy John. Hopefully, we get more innings out of him. And if we could get the same year from Nestor Cortez, Nasty Nestor, we'll be. Well, man, I think we're gonna be out there. We could get close to 95, 96 wins. What do you think?
Yeah, as we were saying before you came on, man, it was all about the Astros effect.
Mm-hmm.
The damn Astros, man. It's just something.
See, if I'm a Yankees fan, which I'm the opposite, I'm a Red Sox fan. But if I'm a Yankees fan, I am not concerned about the regular season at all.
Nah, we're gonna make the playoffs.
It's the playoffs. Can we win in the playoffs? Which sounds crazy for a team with 27 rings, but in today's reality, I would not be confident as a Yankees fan that they're going to win the World Series. I just wouldn't be.
That's facts.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a long season, man. Arms go up, arms go down. So let's see who's healthy in the playoffs at the end of the day.
We'll see. But E-Man, much love, brother. Ben, glad to have you on. To all of our folks, that is a wrap for tonight. We thank you for all supporters. Until next time, go Yankees, and God bless. Take care.
Take care.